Okay, so today I came out as a flat earther on TikTok. I don't get how anybody could go in and watch the evidence presented, watch them debunk all these experiments. I mean, it's in the science. It's actually in the science. Like, they just give us misinformation and call it science and think we won't look into it. Well, a lot of people looked into it. A lot of people looked into a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of experts out there, like I can't go in and, start spouting out all of the scientific facts about it. But I can tell you that it's very interesting. You should go in and watch for yourself, because there is so much, there's just so much that I can't imagine anybody could watch it and still come out of it and go, ah, that's all fake. It's it is so much information, and it is, and it makes sense, to when I'm putting together my information, it makes sense. It makes more sense to me than the idea of a globe spinning out in space. Like, that didn't ever make sense to me, just the same way as, like, there's some guy up in the clouds waiting to save us if we say the magic words. That never made sense to me. So, there's different things that just didn't make sense. And when you start layering it, and another thing, I'm really cold. Gosh, sometimes I have a sweater sitting here. It's freaking chilly all of a sudden. See, the weather is not matching, and it's still like night here. It's 11:30. I don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, it's a Truman Show. It's like, bring in the clouds, turn on the sun, turn on the extra sun, whatever it is they're doing. So, anyways, when in nature, okay, so this is something interesting. So we all have this cowlick on our head. We have like this spinning, right? This central point that goes up, that comes out like that. It's in nature, it's in everything. When you go into our eye, like if you were to look at our eye, that would be the center point. And you think about how it reflects, it shows us a picture. And it is the center point of our vision. And in the in the flat earth, layout thing, the North Pole is the center, and it goes out, in that kind of movement. I can see where they came up with, oh, we'll just call it a globe. I mean, there's a top, and so they just enclosed it because it's a controlled environment. And it is these globalists who created this globe mentality and created this controlled world. And so when you start understanding, about spirits and supernatural, like, to me, it is, what I've come to understand is that there is a natural creator, a creator of nature, of souls, of all of those things. And then you have the creator of humans. Then you have the creator of this reality. And each has like an overlord that people worship, just like in this reality, science is the Lord, when really you're worshiping a dark energy that is controlling this, that other people, they know the secret, but you don't. So it's all this false illusion. It's all based on this trying to fake one another out. And it develops that energy, it starts moving out as a disease into the communities, just like how, them trying to get people to be voyeurs in movies and stuff like that, to create this perverse society. You used to not have to watch that stuff when you watched movies. Our role models when I was a kid were, like, the kids were so perfect that it just never seemed like you could live up to the expectation. It made you feel like a reject. Then it turned it into, like, sex kittens. That's your role models for the young girls. It's like, oh my God, it's mental. But they're trying to create this perverse kind of world. So that is in their created environment. But when you start connecting to the natural God, the God of all things, the God that we're all a part of, what your soul, that's why it awakens your soul, because your soul is connected to what's outside of this. This is a controlled reality, and your soul is connected to the natural creator, the creator of all things that you are part of as your soul being, your energy, your consciousness. So that all has a connection, but it is blocked off by manipulation, so that people are focused on this reality, this created reality, and this created reality is all based on lies. There's no science that backs it up. It's so crazy. As soon as you go in and start trying to show the experiments, it shows that they're lying. And this is one thing too, is that I have found that so many people will not go in and listen to any information right away. Nope, I'm not listening to anything crazy like that. I'm not listening to anything foolish. So you just limit yourself. Like, go in and look at yourself and think, like, why do I put up these limitations, these roadblocks? I mean, how do I know if this information is valid? I haven't even watched it. What in me is stopping me from going in and listening to as much information as possible? It's all about this control. It's all about this bullying and keeping people contained, keeping them contained in this globe world that they created, of this weird reality that is all about taking our energy. And when you don't know what you are, your energy is free. They are using your energy. And I mean, they're going so much more sophisticated with it in this environment, and this is an opportunity right now. The ascension is your opportunity to break free from this reality and to start focusing on the natural world, what I would think of as the supernatural world, because it is the place of magic. It is a place where all existence shows its true form. And, there is all of this stuff around us. There's multidimensional beings. There's Bigfoot. There's ghosts. There's all of these things that something's trying to get on my eye. All of these things that are out there that we block ourselves off from seeing, block ourselves off from understanding, because it wouldn't make sense to us. It would mess up our ideas of this reality. So instead we block it off, and they tell you to call people names, and everybody needs to stay in this reality, in this globe world, so that it is like we're in this Christmas globe. That is exactly, that's just a contained little world that they created. And they don't want you to talk about what's outside of there. They don't want you to notice what's outside of there. And when you start looking what's outside the glass, then you start seeing a whole world of magic and the supernatural. And you start realizing it's all consciousness. It's all different forms of consciousness and experience and realities. And that there isn't this concept of time and space. It is all fluid, because it is all happening, because it's all around us. And we are a part of that. But, in this confined world of this globe, then you get this idea that this is what life is. If you leave this, then you die. You don't exist anymore. You just cease to exist. That everything in this globe is it is by accident. Like, nature is just a fluke. And they're trying to cut as much of nature out of existence as possible, because they know it calls to our soul. So they create these concrete jungles, these concrete world of buildings, and all of this cold kind of unfeeling energy. When you go out into nature, when you go out into the forest, it becomes alive. Everything, the sounds, you start noticing, like, to me, like, I know I saw a fairy, and it was so fast, but it is so magical when you get out there. And it's where the animals go to live in their world. I mean, they move away from us, because this world is, it's not real. And it's so much like the never-ending story too, with the darkness, because when you shine the light on the darkness, it can't keep corroding, and it is a corrosion. What this disease is that they created of fear and control, just to, control someone's energy, someone's consciousness, that has no awareness that they are consciousness, that they do live forever, that they are something special, special enough that they make a whole world to trick them. So when, but for the human creator, those were other beings. The Anunnaki are the ones who created human beings. They, did some DNA restructuring and took some from different people from different planets and created this Homo sapien, sapien. It was a development in the creation of this being that is used as an avatar for a soul to experience. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of different creators, and people want to get all caught into what creation is. Well, creation is many things. I'm a creator on TikTok. I am presenting my view of the world. It's my creation. It's how I see the world, and that I'm creating that place. So, a creation is all, it's what you understand, kind of, it's where you're at in your understanding. But it is definitely multi-layered, and the creation of this world is the thing that you want to be breaking free from, towards ascension, towards that awakening and enlightenment, because it is that connection to all that is nature, is the creator, or the creator is in us. Our souls is the creator. It is just the fractal of that creator. And then when it goes back together, when we all come together, when we unify, we are God. We are what God is. So, and if you brought all the souls from all around, every reality, back to the creator, the source of which they came, they would go back into that. It's like an explosion in movement. That's why the Big Bang is right on some levels. And, the atom and Eve, that whole science, that, when you start looking at it from a science perspective, instead of a creation looking at it from a creation perspective, look at it from science, when something is created in a lab. And this whole world, yeah, it's created just, like, it's like we got into somebody's fun house as souls and we couldn't get out, and they run it. So yeah, it's so crazy, because it's just so vast over everything that in this world is so controlled, when you start putting it all together. But like I said, so many people, they just cut themselves off from information. But, when you go out and you just start looking for information about all things, it starts really painting a picture, and you can see it really clearly. And, the whole thing with plant medicine and big pharma, and what they've done for energy and electric, and the chemicals and the frequencies and the magnetism of the planet. There's so much stuff, and it all goes together. And so I would just, recommend to anybody, just go to anything that piques your interest. One thing is for sure with flat earth stuff, it is got a lot of attention, because there's a lot of people who want to go in and debunk it, and then there's a lot of people who keep trying to show, the information, like, man, this is valid shit, just look into it. And the other people, no, that's crazy. It's like, why are you blocking yourself off like that? Why don't you want to go in and look into something and see, where's your evidence? You're just saying it because you're told that. So it doesn't make any sense. There's no evidence to show that reality is real. And when you go in and you start looking, you find that out. So, yeah. But that topic definitely gets a lot of attention. And I would just tell everybody, go into it with an open mind. Start opening your mind instead of just closing it, closing it, closing it, because that is a contained world. That you're the perfect subject for these aristocrat people who want to run their globe world. You're perfect for them, and especially if you really are shallow and being in a synthetic sounds like a good plan. This could be the place for you, but it's not for me. And there's many of us who have seen through the illusion and know that's not the place for us either. So, yeah, the more that you can connect outside of this contained world, the more you can question the world outside. I mean, maybe your start is just to start looking into, reincarnation. That is, that will open your mind if you have never looked into it. It could be about talking to the dead, mediums, if you haven't looked into that, channelers, like what I do. If you haven't looked into that, look into that. If you haven't looked into, I mean, it's so endless of the topics that are out there that people refuse to look into because they don't want to be made fun of. Aliens. I mean, that's why I was like, I don't care. Make fun of me if I say I'm a flat earther. Jesus Christ, I've been being made fun of that I said that there was aliens since I was a kid. So way over. I said 40 years, but really it's way past 40 years. So yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten thicker skin over the years. So anyways, just don't be bullied by other people's limitations because they feel more safe in a confined environment of control, and they don't want to think of anything being real outside of that world. It messes their head up. So just you gotta let people be where they're safe and comfortable. But there's a lot of stuff to go and look into in our true history, and like the Sumerian tablets, and our real connection to what we consider aliens, and what this universe is and what it represents. And there's something to this swirl and this movement, and it is the way that this planet works. It's the way vibration works. It's the way everything moves, and we're in constant movement. And you just, to me, the more that you start unfolding for yourself, the more that they give you more and more information, and you start seeing things, and it just, the world becomes a completely different place, I'm telling you. So don't be restricted by other people's limitations. Look into things for yourself. Look into everything, even if you have to do it from a closet with a flashlight for a while. And then, and learn about loving yourself, and, not to be confined by what other people think you need to be. Be your true self. Be your authentic self. I'll talk to you later. Bye.